Tonight, on Closer Look, a test drive at a dealership in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario, turned into a truck theft recently. Bay Today reporter Chris Dawson has been covering this story and joins us tonight from North Bay. Chris, walk us through what happened that day at Tremblay's Chevrolet Buick GMC when a man came in wanting to test drive a 2020 GMC Sierra Denali crew cab. Maybe pick the story up from there.
Yeah, it was quite the ordeal. A gentleman came in kind of like work gear, comes in and tells the staff at the dealership that he had an insurance claim and had his vehicle totaled, and he was looking to buy this specific vehicle, as you mentioned, the 2020 GMC Sierra Denali crew cab that was on the lot there, and gave them his license. Gave them his phone number and said that his name was Scott King, as it said on the driver's license, and said, I want to take this vehicle to show my boss at the Comfort Inn, which literally 200 meters away, across, literally just barely across the parking lot from the dealership to the Comfort Inn. And lo and behold, they gave him the time, waited a couple hours, and the guy never showed up.
So once the dealer realized that Scott King wasn't returning, what course of action did the staff at the dealership take, Chris?
Well, I think they obviously tried to call the phone number, realized it wasn't, nobody answered the phone. Secondly, I think they obviously called the OPP. The OPP realized that this was a fake ID. When they called the person on the driver's license, the person was home and claimed that he had his driver's license actually stolen in July, and he had obviously had it replaced for his own personal means. So this was a stolen driver's license, and so then they contacted the OPP, and we talked to the OPP on Thursday morning, and they still do not have any leads. But talking to Michael Tremblay, who's the owner of the dealership, he says this has never happened. Like, this guy came in, Scott, like he won an Academy Award because there was no nervousness. He just seemed to be, legit in their mind, and seemed to be so calm and casual about it that I guess it's just really scary. The fact that obviously this guy didn't have a conscience, had a idea what he wanted to do, and just stole a $70,000 vehicle, and most likely talking to Michael Tremblay with whether it's vehicles being stolen out of a parking lot or in front of your home or whatever. Vehicles are targeted and they're taken to a port somewhere. And like Michael Tremblay said, I waited 3 hours before I called the OPP. It could have been in a sea container in Toronto, or close to pulling into Montreal, and in a sea container in the St. Lawrence Seaway.
So as you know, Chris, I grew up in North Bay and spent a fair amount of time in the Sturgeon Falls area, mostly playing golf at Laurentide. I can picture that area extremely well, and the Comfort Inn, as you pointed out, is just a stone's throw from the dealership. So you can almost see how the staff could easily accept that the driver was just going to go down to the street a little bit and show his boss the vehicle.
It is such a juggling act. I talked to a couple of other car salesmen, because nowadays obviously the priority is the safety and protecting the assets that are at the dealership. But you have the juggling act where you don't want to say, well, I need to come with you for a test drive. I need to do this. You need this. You need to provide that, because you don't want to discourage the person to say, well, if it's going to be this difficult, I'm going to go somewhere else, right? But really, nowadays, like talking to Michael Tremblay, they're going to have to beef up their protocols, and riding with someone on a test drive, which talking to some people, I think even yourself, that it's not the most comfortable thing. Like, I've done it before, but the guy that sold vehicles to me has actually done segments on Bay Today with me, writing segments on sports. So I know him really well. He's a friend of mine, but you're just getting a random sales guy going in a vehicle that you're test driving. It might not be, really as comfortable, but you know what, it's the reality these days of scammers at all different levels, that you can never put your guard down, whether you're working in a dealership or operating on your phone, taking an email that looks like it's winning some money or something like that.
And of course, you do what you have to do to protect the asset. Okay, you mentioned that no new leads as far as the police are concerned. Is there anything else that we know about the suspect, Chris, that perhaps you haven't mentioned?
I do. We did put out an update on Thursday because the dealership added some more security photos of the individual. The original photos were a guy in a orange jacket in work gear, and you couldn't really see his face. They have sent out 4 more photos, more detailed, showing a guy with a beard that they believe is the suspect who took the vehicle. So that has been the only update so far. And like I said, we talked to the OPP this morning, and they don't have any new leads to report after the theft. So, I mean, that 2 or 3 hours was just, well, like I said, enough time for it potentially to be, on a sea container. And from what my understanding is, and Michael Trombley said it to me first, he said, why is he taking a 2020 vehicle? I talked to a couple other car salesmen. They say that's a very particular, unique vehicle. So it could have been identified and through an ad, and they send this guy up, and the vehicle's gone now. So.
All right, and you can see those photos at baytoday.ca. Bay Today reporter Chris Dawson joining us tonight from North Bay on this evening's Closer Look.